The history of jazz. What is jazz? Jazz is a special kind of music that started in the United States over 100 years ago. It's known for its creativity, energy, and improvisation, meaning musicians make up music on the spot. Jazz is like a conversation between instruments, with each musician adding their own personality to the sound. The beginnings of jazz. Jazz was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, a city full of different cultures, where people from all over the world lived, worked, and played music. New Orleans had African, Caribbean, French, and Spanish influences, all mixing together. African American culture, with its rhythms, call and response style, like one person singing a line and others answering back, and unique musical scales, played a huge part in creating jazz. Two important kinds of music helped shape jazz: the blues and ragtime. Blues songs were emotional and often told stories about life's hard times, using unique blue notes that gave them a soulful sound. Ragtime, popularized by musicians like Scott Joplin, was a kind of lively, syncopated piano music. Both styles were different from European classical music, which followed strict rules. Jazz, on the other hand, was all about freedom. Dixieland and early jazz. In the 1910s and 1920s, the jazz we recognize today started taking shape. Known as Dixieland or early jazz, it had a fun, bouncy sound with trumpet, clarinet, trombone, piano, and drums. Louis Armstrong, a talented trumpet player from New Orleans, became one of jazz's first big stars. He helped make jazz popular across America, especially with his warm, expressive trumpet playing and his scat singing, a style where you sing nonsense syllables to make new sounds. Jazz quickly became the music of parties, dances, and celebrations. As people moved to big cities like Chicago and New York, jazz followed them and continued to evolve. Many jazz musicians played in places called speakeasies, which were secret clubs where people could enjoy music and dancing during Prohibition, a time when alcohol was illegal in the United States. The swing era. In the 1930s, jazz entered a new era called swing. This style had a big, bold sound and was perfect for dancing. Swing bands, also known as big bands, had many musicians playing together, often 15 or more. They played in unison and created a driving rhythm that got people on their feet. Swing bands were led by famous band leaders like Duke Ellington, Count Basie, and Benny Goodman, often called the King of Swing. Swing music was not only popular in the United States, but also around the world. During World War II, swing music lifted people's spirits, bringing joy during a difficult time. Bebop and modern jazz. After World War II, some jazz musicians wanted to break away from the big band style and make music that was more complex and challenging to play. This new style, called bebop, featured fast tempos, complex harmonies, and quick improvisation. It wasn't as danceable as swing, but it was exciting to listen to. Bebop was like a musical conversation, with each musician adding fast, intricate notes. Key figures in the bebop era were Charlie Parker, a saxophone player, and Dizzy Gillespie, a trumpet player. Their music was fast, fiery, and pushed the boundaries of what jazz could be. Bebop laid the foundation for modern jazz styles that came later. Cool jazz and hard bop. In the 1950s, jazz continued to evolve in two different directions. Cool jazz was smoother and more relaxed than bebop, using softer tones and often featuring instruments like the French horn and flute. Miles Davis, one of jazz's most famous musicians, helped create this style with his album Birth of the Cool. At the same time, a style called hard bop brought jazz back to its blues roots, adding in elements from gospel and rhythm and blues. Musicians like Art Blakey and Horace Silver made hard bop popular with its driving beats and soulful melodies. Free jazz and fusion. The 1960s saw the rise of free jazz, a style that threw out traditional rules and allowed musicians to play whatever felt right in the moment. It was wild and experimental, with long, energetic solos. Saxophonist Ornette Coleman and pianist Cecil Taylor were pioneers of free jazz. Not everyone understood free jazz, but it showed how limitless jazz could be. In the 1970s, jazz merged with rock, funk, and electric instruments to create jazz fusion. Musicians like Miles Davis and Herbie Hancock helped bring this new sound to life. Fusion was popular because it was both energetic and complex, drawing fans from both jazz and rock audiences. Jazz today. Since the 1980s, jazz has continued to grow and change, blending with hip-hop, pop, Latin music, and more. Musicians like Wynton Marsalis, who became a famous trumpet player in the 1980s, have worked to keep traditional jazz alive. Meanwhile, artists like Kamasi Washington and Esperanza Spalding experiment with jazz to create something new and modern. Jazz festivals are held around the world, and young musicians continue to study and innovate within this genre. Instruments in jazz and their famous players. Jazz has a rich mix of instruments, each with its own sound and personality. These instruments together create the exciting, layered sound that makes jazz special. Each instrument has its own role, and the musicians who play them bring their unique personalities and talents, making jazz a rich and expressive art form. Here are some of the most common jazz instruments and the musicians who made them famous. Trumpet. The trumpet is a brass instrument with a bright, bold sound. In jazz, it's often used to play the main melody, and it's known for its powerful high notes. Louis Armstrong was known as one of the greatest jazz musicians of all time. Armstrong was famous for his joyful, energetic trumpet playing. His creativity and personality helped make jazz popular all over the world. Dizzy Gillespie, known for his bent trumpet and unique style, Dizzy was one of the inventors of bebop, a faster, more complex style of jazz. His music was exciting and full of energy. Saxophone. The saxophone has a warm, smooth tone that can be playful or soulful. It's great for jazz because it can play fast melodies and improvisations. Charlie Parker, known as Bird, was a legendary saxophonist who played fast, complex music. He helped create bebop jazz, a style that challenged musicians to play at incredible speeds. John Coltrane is famous for his deep, spiritual playing. He explored new ways to play the saxophone and made jazz sound even more expressive and emotional. Piano. The piano is one of the most flexible instruments in jazz because it can play both melodies and harmonies, or the chords. It's used in almost every jazz band, adding rhythm and a full sound. Duke Ellington was a legendary jazz pianist and bandleader. Ellington composed hundreds of songs and led one of the most famous big bands. His style was elegant, and his music made jazz sound sophisticated. Thelonious Monk was known for his quirky, unusual playing style. Monk was one of jazz's most creative musicians. His music was full of surprises, and he made every note sound interesting. Double bass. The double bass, also called the upright bass, is the largest and deepest sounding instrument in jazz. It provides the steady rhythm that keeps jazz music grounded, often with a walking bass line. Charles Mingus was a famous bassist and composer known for his powerful playing and complex compositions. His music had deep emotion, and he wasn't afraid to push boundaries. Ray Brown was one of the most recorded jazz bassists, known for his strong rhythm and clear sound. His bass playing helped shape modern jazz and influenced generations of bassists. Drums. Drums are essential in jazz because they set the beat and rhythm. Jazz drummers have to be both steady and creative, often adding their own flourishes to keep the music exciting. Art Blakey was a powerhouse drummer known for his energetic playing style. He was a leader of the Jazz Messengers, a group that trained some of the best jazz musicians. Max Roach was a jazz drummer known for his precise playing and creative rhythms. He helped bring the drums to the forefront in jazz, showing that drummers could be as expressive as any other player. The guitar. The guitar is often used in jazz for both rhythm and melody. Jazz guitarists are known for their smooth, flowing solos and for keeping the rhythm steady with chords. Charlie Christian was one of the first jazz guitarists to play an electric guitar. His smooth, swingy playing style helped shape modern jazz guitar. Wes Montgomery, known for his unique thumb-picking technique, was famous for his warm, mellow tone. He made complex guitar solos sound smooth and effortless. Trombone. The trombone has a sliding, deep sound that's a bit different from the trumpet. It's often used to add depth to the band and plays both melody and rhythm. J.J. Johnson was one of the first trombonists to play bebop, making the trombone sound fast and agile. He showed how expressive and exciting the trombone could be. Kid Ory was one of the earliest jazz trombonists who helped develop jazz in New Orleans. His style was lively and bouncy, and he added a lot of character to early jazz music. And finally, the clarinet, which was popular in early jazz and Dixieland jazz. The clarinet is known for its clear, high-pitched sound, though it's less common today. It was essential in the early days of jazz. Benny Goodman, known as the King of Swing, made the clarinet famous in the 1930s. His skill and charisma helped make swing jazz popular across the United States. Sidney Bechet was one of the first jazz musicians to become famous worldwide. He played the clarinet as well as the saxophone with a fast, intense style that made every performance unforgettable. Why is jazz special? Jazz is more than just music. It's an important part of American history. It brought people together across racial lines, breaking down social barriers. Jazz also gave musicians the freedom to express themselves and helped influence other kinds of music, from rock to hip-hop. So, when you listen to jazz, remember that you're hearing more than just notes and rhythms. You're experiencing a piece of history full of creativity, personality, and freedom. Jazz is music that's always changing, always fresh, and always open to anyone with a story to tell.